Hi guys, it's good to be back for another webinar. So these days, people seem to be thinking about this non-math data sufficiency kind of questions, or some call it the verb kind of data sufficiency questions. So today we are going to demystify them for you. Yeah, what are these data sufficiency, non-math data sufficiency kind of questions? So first of all, let me start by saying that they are absolutely nothing new. Yeah, they are based on exactly the same concepts that you have been studying for quant, for verbal, and for the various types of integrated reasoning kind of data insight questions. Yeah. So then, okay, so first question, why do you think that they are making data sufficiency questions also non-math kind? We know that in integrated reasoning, there have always been those kind of questions as well, right? Which are not based on calculations, etc. We'll talk about what they are based on, no worries. But we know that those kind of questions have been there. But data sufficiency used to be just basically math based, right? Now, and this is a conjecture, okay? So don't hold me to it, but the way I see it is that data sufficiency was a part of quant, so that is why they stuck to math type of questions for data sufficiency. But now they have moved it to data insights section, so they're trying to make it all a little more compatible, right? They want that all the questions of data insights should be compatible with each other. They're just different formats, but then essentially the skills that they are testing should be compatible and they should be data based, right? So then that is the reason. And since our IR kind of all questions, they do have these verbal kind of questions also. Like we've always had critical reasoning being tested in two-part analysis as well, right? So since they have these kind of questions as well, we have analytical reasoning kind of questions as well. So now we see data sufficiency also testing those same skills. But then please do understand that they are those same skills that are getting tested. There is nothing new. We need to be comfortable with, for example, conditionals for non-math data sufficiency kind of questions. We need to be comfortable with analytical reasoning, so we could get questions which are comparison based, those where A is older than B, but B is younger than C and E, and then you have to find the relation between them. So we'll see how to do that, right? We'll try and do everything visually as we usually do. So then we'll see how to do that. Or for example, there could be hierarchies given to you. There is a category, then there are subcategories, then subcategories of different categories. Like for example, if you remember that trees question, the conifer, the deciduous kind of trees question we did some time ago. So that was based, so we make a tree diagram for that, right? Or for example, it could be based on matrices where, you make a table. So A likes D, E, F, but does not like H, for example, but B likes E and not H, something like that. So we make that quick table, make that, that matrix, and then we put crosses and ticks. Or they may give us a table with those crosses and ticks. They may give us some kind of small table where, again, we can pick up the data from there and then answer questions. Then we could have, for example, calendar kind of questions where, okay, so the month started with this day of the week, and then, what will be this day of the week, etc. That is also possible. You could have something based on directions, something based on north south. So this person started like this, and then, now is this person, is the shadow of this person to the north, something like that, right? Based on directions. Basically, you should be comfortable with directions. About sequences, that A is to the left and B is to the right of this and this. Okay, or for example, the programs have to be sequenced in a certain order. This cannot happen on a Sunday. This cannot happen on a Wednesday. So those analytical reasoning kind of questions, those logical reasoning kind of questions that we used to enjoy in our childhood, now those are the ones that are getting tested. Critical reasoning, the DS questions could be some type of a critical reasoning question also. Those are also getting tested. So the hardcore verbal questions. And then, of course, we have the regular math-based questions of data sufficiency as well. So again, let me, before we start taking the questions, let me say that the concepts getting tested are nothing new. They are exactly the same ones that we have to anyway prepare for. Let's say if you did not know that these kind of questions come, if you get them in the exam, suddenly they come in front of you, you would not have a problem in solving them. You might be surprised that, hey, you know what, I haven't done data sufficiency, this kind of data sufficiency before. but it's just a surprise. You still will be able to answer it very comfortably. In fact, they are easier than the math-based data sufficiency question. Math-based ones can be trickier than these ones. These are usually a little easier. They're more real-life based, etc. These are usually a little easier. Yeah. So no worries at all. We will do, and as always, we'll do everything visually. We'll try and wherever possible, note down, make some small diagrams so that we don't get confused, so that all the data is taken care of, and so that we don't make mistakes, right? That is how we learn best, right? Okay, so then let me share my screen. We'll start with some questions. The first, we'll start with something simple, and then we'll go on to tougher and tougher questions as we go along. Yeah. In case there are any doubts at any time, please feel free to write in the Q&A that has been enabled. So in case there are any queries, any doubts, just write there and I'll take care of it. Yeah. Okay, let me share my screen with you. It says vitamin Y, when absorbed by the body, improves bone health. Okay, first of all, before we even start discussing it, this is what? It's a critical reasoning question, isn't it? It's just your regular critical reasoning question, which you get in verbal. Half of your section is critical reasoning only in verbal, which you have to solve. You study so much for it. Figure out the different types of questions. Is that it is using exactly the same concepts, exactly the same logic, isn't it? So it's the way they used to get these kind of question two-part analysis as well. Now it is a part of data sufficiency. I mean, is it a big problem? Is it something really new? No, not at all, right? Just, keep an open mind that you can expect any kind of question in data sufficiency, that is going to be fine. You still have to do exactly what you have to do in all data sufficiency questions. Yeah. So here I'll say this is a CR kind of question, a completely CR kind of question. Yeah, we'll go through the solutions a little faster, and then in case there are any doubts, then you can stop and you can ask me. Yeah? Otherwise, we'll try and do at least a few questions, one question of each type, of the non-math DS, basically, that type. So vitamin Y, when absorbed by the body, improves bone health. So we are given that when vitamin Y is absorbed, it improves bone health. It is also needed for muscle movement and nerve communication, all right. Vitamin X is required for absorption of vitamin Z and to improve immune system responses, among other things. So we're saying that vitamin X is required for these things. So essentially we're saying that vitamin X is necessary for these things, right? Okay. Now, Adam has recently started taking a diet rich in both vitamins X and Y. So he's taking both these vitamins. Assuming all statements above are true, will Adam's bone health improve? Okay. So now, look at this. What does my statement one say? When the amount of vitamin Y in the, look, assuming all statements are true, I'm given that he started taking a diet rich in vitamins X and Y. Here I'm given vitamin Y, when absorbed by the body, improves bone health. And that is why I need some additional information, right? I mean, just if I don't have these statements, then I cannot say whether Adam's bone health will improve or not. Do you understand? All I'm given is that he has started consuming more in his food. Now, does the body absorb it? I don't really know. So that is why I can't really say, without these statements, I can't say whether Adam's health will improve or not. So now I do need at least one of these statements. Let me figure out. When the amount of vitamin Y in the diet is increased, more of it is absorbed by the body. Here, this is telling me that when I start eating more of the vitamin Y in my diet, then more of it is absorbed by the body, right? This is leading me to a sufficient condition. Do you understand? If more in diet, then more is absorbed by the body, right? Then I am given that vitamin Y, when absorbed by the body, it improves bone health. So then that means that the bone health is going to improve, isn't it? These are all sufficient conditions. If more in the diet, then absorb more. This is a sufficient condition. If more in the diet, absorb more. If absorbed, then it improves bone health. Okay, great. So then this one is sufficient. I say this one is sufficient for me to say that yes, Adam's bone health will improve. Okay. Look at two. Vitamin X is required for the absorption of vitamin Y by the body. Now, I do not have my statement 1 at this time. I only have that vitamin X is required. What is the meaning of required? It means necessary, right? So vitamin X is necessary for absorption of vitamin Y, but I don't know what else might be necessary for absorption of vitamin Y. This is only a necessary condition. I know he's taking vitamin X as well. So then he's taking one necessary condition, one is satisfied. But what if something else is also necessary to absorb vitamin Y? Do you understand? I know that this is a necessary condition. It is not sufficient for the absorption of vitamin Y. And that is the reason why this statement alone is not sufficient. This gives me a necessary condition for the absorption of vitamin Y. It does not give me a sufficient condition. Here, I'm given a sufficient condition that when the amount of vitamin Y in the diet is increased, more of it is absorbed by the body. Right? Don't worry. Don't think that they're conflicting statements. No, not at all. I mean, what if, the body itself does produce some vitamin X, etc.? Doesn't matter, right? We are given that this is sufficient when the amount of vitamin in the diet is increased and more of it is absorbed. So this sufficient condition does give me the answer over here that yes, it will improve, but this necessary condition does not. Again, these are concepts of what? Just sufficient and necessary conditions. If you understand these, then you can very easily solve this question, right? Make sense?